Hey guys, today I'm cleaning my kids' bedroom. So I have 3 kids and 2 of them share this room. I'm gonna give you some of my top organization tips that I have for kids' rooms, especially if you have kids who share a room. And then after that, I'm gonna clean this whole room. I can kind of take you through, show you what I do, and show you before and after. I think it's gonna be really good. Okay, so let me start out with my tips for organizing a room. My first one is when you've got a kid's room, you need to make sure you have a couple of clear bins, and those can be bins that you put toys in. Maybe you want to put shoes in there. I use ours for toys, and I just make sure that they've got these bins, and then that way the kids can see the toys at the bottom, they can see what's in the bin. But it's also important because when their room gets out of hand, they can just pick everything up and put them in the bin, and it just takes a few seconds for them to do it. My other tip is to clean out their clothing often. Kids grow so fast. I mean, sometimes I'm just shocked at how quickly they're growing. So I generally try to clean out their clothing, I'd say like every 2 months at a minimum, and just donate things that I don't need. My next tip is to make sure you take advantage of the space under their beds. Especially if you've got multiple kids in a room, you probably have less space in the room in general. So I definitely like to put everything under the bed that I can, but not in a crazy way. I like to do it in a neat way. And one of the tricks that I've done is we've got like old dressers that we were getting rid of, and I actually saved the drawers. And then what I do is I use those drawers under their bed so that if you see them under the bed, it looks like a nice wooden drawer, but then you can kind of store stuff in that drawer, and it just looks a lot neater and keeps things organized. Okay, another tip I have for kids' rooms is if you can, limit the number of toys in those rooms. So we are lucky enough that we've got an attic at the top, and I go ahead and I put most of their toys in there. And then what I like to do is rotate the toys out. So they've got a toy bin in their room, they can play with it, but then I'll rotate those toys out after a while, and they'll have a whole new set of toys, and then the ones that they were playing with, those go into the attic. I just think it's a lot easier to keep the room kind of cleaner and clutter-free if you don't have a lot of toys lying around. And then I also mentioned about donating clothes, and I also want to say donate toys and books and other things often. We just accumulate these things, stuff comes into the house, so as much as you can, try to donate as much as you can, just so that you don't get overwhelmed with clutter and lots of things that just end up in the kids' room. And then kind of along the same lines is to limit what you buy. I've got friends who have lots of toys and they want to donate them. I'll take them sometimes. I'll give my friends my toys. I just feel like it's a lot easier to just get hand-me-downs and things from people in the neighborhood, check out garage sales, and just try to limit or be more mindful of what we're buying. Another thing is obviously you want your kids to clean the room themselves. So I mentioned that clear bin so that they can clean their own toys up. I also think an important thing to do is to have a hamper in your room. That way when your kids take their clothes off or change their clothing, they can put everything in that hamper, and you just have to show them you're expected to put your clothes in the hamper. You're expected to put your clothes in the bin. You just have to have places for them to put their things, but they definitely need to be in charge and helping to keep their room clean so that it's not just you cleaning it. Okay, let's get started and clean this room. Okay, so here we are. This room has totally gotten out of hand. So the way that I like to address it is I first start with the bedding, and I just go ahead and remove all the bedding because I'm gonna wash it. The other reason why I start with the bedding is because I'm gonna put like the surface clutter on top of the bed, so I want the bed clear. So I'm taking off the comforters, the sheets. I'm gonna wash everything. I'm not gonna wash the pillows this time around, but I generally do like to wash those once a month. But this time I'm just gonna do the rest of it. You can see this is Alex. He's my 6-year-old, and he wanted to help. So he is pushing everything down the stairs so that we can launder it. Next, I go about and put away all of their clothing. We just have so much laundry in this house, and I don't know, I feel like I can never stay on top of all of the clothing and getting it put away. So I'm going around the room and I'm just picking up every piece of clothing, and I'm either putting it away in the drawer where it belongs, or I'm sticking it in the laundry so that it can be washed. Okay, next is clearing off all of the surfaces. We're going to clean this room. We're kind of going to work top to bottom. So, you know, the mirror and the surfaces, we're going to start here. And then that way, you know, we can get all the dust off, get all the things put away. And then anything that falls off, like dust or whatever, then we can just vacuum that up at the end. So here we're just putting all of this clutter away. The kids, like, just so much clutter. So first I'm just kind of taking the dust off with that microfiber cloth, and then I'm using Mr. Clean Freak spray just to kind of clean it off and get it nice and shiny. Alex is also going to help me with his desk and do the same. This desk isn't as dusty because it gets used all the time, but the other surfaces are pretty dusty. Speaking of dust, all of the bedrooms that in our house, I mean, this is just like the nature of our bedrooms, have so much dust in them, and it's really because we spend a lot of time in them, and dust is made up of skin cells, so there's just a lot of it in a room, and it's really good to clean it and vacuum it and get all of that dust out because you don't want to be sleeping and breathing in that dust. The next step here is I'm going to just be vacuuming. This actually took me the longest because I moved all of the furniture and I vacuumed behind and underneath everything. I swear, I'm using my Upright Shark Navigator here. I can link it below, but I honestly think I filled the entire canister just with their room. It was good having Alex help me out here too, by the way, because he was able to get into all of the small spaces like under the bed and behind the desk, different places that are harder for me to fit into, obviously. So that was a good help. I also like to vacuum on the furniture and sometimes even the walls. A lot of times the dust just sticks to everything, every surface that it can cling to. So I like to just do the walls, do the backs of the furniture, do the sides of the furniture, and just make sure that I can kind of reach everything. I'm even vacuuming this lampshade because obviously that also is getting dusty here. And then another tip I have is with the magic eraser. I mean, if you've watched my channel, I love magic erasers. They work so well, and I'm using it here on this desk. This desk actually looked like new when I was finished with it, with the magic eraser. So highly recommend them. And I don't even use the real ones most of the time. I get these cool knockoff ones from Amazon. I can also link those. And now I'm just using Windex on this mirror. They only have one in the room. This is just the little rug that they have in their room. I have my Upright Dyson vacuum cleaner, which I'm also obsessed with. I mean, really, I'm obsessed with vacuuming, but I do love this vacuum cleaner a lot. I use it several times a day. So now that I've got the surfaces cleaned and the vacuuming done, I'm just putting the finishing touches on. I'm putting all of their stuffed animals back. Not all of them. I did put a bunch in the attic because it was a little bit crazy. Oh, I also wanted to show you, I did repurpose this. It was from an old toy, and I just kind of repurposed it as a desk organizer. I really hate throwing things away if I don't have to. So here is the before. You can kind of see how messy it is, lots of craziness. This room hadn't been cleaned in at least a couple of months, lots of clothes there. And then this is the after. It's all nice and tidy. I've got everything, all the bedding back on, nice and vacuumed so that they can have a nice sleep with fresh, clean air. Thanks for cleaning this room with me, and I can't wait to see you next time.